So, yeah, I'm pretty busy lately. I have to work, and I don't have time for my hobby. Not at all. It's such a terrifying situation to be in. I barely have enough time for entertainment and to make these type of videos. Think about stuff and make these type of videos. I'm just sorry, but there's nothing I can do. And I sort of have to. At least I don't have a position where I can come out and be like, okay, I have a bunch of free time, I can continue working on my things. At the same time, there's a big road bump. How do I do animation on Spawn Engine? How do I figure this out? I'm gonna sum up what I've been doing so far with the Ninja School series. This is the quarter episode of the season. We're gonna have 100 episodes, and I reset everything in the end simply because these episodes are mostly meant for my self-improvement. So as long as I improve myself, it's great. I don't have to have a lot of viewers looking at me and being like, why don't edit your videos, and why is it so simple and about everything? I don't understand. This is completely different from regular commentary videos that I watch on YouTube. Yeah, this is supposed to be better. Because, first of all, of my personality type. Very interesting. I've talked about demons, right? I've talked about how I like to kill vampires, and the vampires are pretty active right now. If you figure out how I operate as a person, and I have the nature of Earth, and if everyone has a certain type of nature, maybe you have an Earth nature, especially if you like watching these videos, you probably do. So you either want to activate that power and protect the people that you like, and you're gonna get that benefit from these people if you protect them, hopefully, because in the end it's gonna be our time to shine when we get to create communities. This is very interesting. The Stefan Molyneux versus Peter Joseph debate was interesting because I can debunk both of these ideas in a way. Peter Joseph is actually closer to an actual solution. Stefan Molyneux doesn't actually see. He thinks the capitalism is simple. And Peter Joseph said, look, this is not easy. It's not simple. You're fucking out of your mind. You don't just trade a pen for $1 and be like, that is capitalism. What is $1? Why did the transaction happen? And how did it happen? But where did that dollar come from? How is it created? All these questions have to be answered. You can't just look into a simple concept and be like, yeah, $1 was wanted more than a pen. It was an intention. Oh, it was wanted more. Are you sure? Are you sure? You cannot just force a person to buy a pen. Peter Joseph talks about planned obsolescence. If your pen breaks down, you go back to the shop and buy a new pen. You are compelled or upset. The pen has broken. This is what capitalists do. They break your stuff. They give you stuff and they break it. They love that shit. They love giving obsolete stuff to you. So you come back to them as long as you trust them. They try to bend the trust just so they could profit. That's what capitalists do. Most importantly, and Stefan Molyneux has this ideology, like free market is his ideology. He thinks that it's the best thing ever. And it's so scary because, again, the scariest thing that I've talked about is the flat earth. I mentioned it. It's an ideology. It's something that I believed in, and I didn't question it until some people did, and I was interested in the topic. It was a gaping hole for me, because I was interested in science, and I bet a lot of people were as well. But the truth is, there's enough evidence to suggest that science doesn't give you anything. Science just tells you things. Science just tells you theories. And you sort of live by those theories. You talk about space sometimes. If you are capable of not talking about space or looking at space videos or the news that connect with space, because we don't know if that even exists. If we live in a solar system, we don't know these things. Nobody explored anything. Science didn't explore it and didn't brought the experience back to us. They just made a bunch of CGI. And we needed to realize that as a society. And people were upset that it was even brought up. Of course, it's very upsetting. Oh, we can't just move on and be like, globe Earth. We need to think about some ancient ideas. Yes. And those ancient ideas are not so ancient. Some people live under Jesus Christ at the moment. I call them compelled Christians. Christians who are following the authority of Jesus at this point. Who think that Jesus is such a great figure. Or like the only figure. Like whatever that is. But this is a pun. It's supposed to be like an insult to these guys. It's so weird because they're the only survivors of Christianity. You look into a video like this and be like, oh, all caps, like his entire channel is built on capital letters, screaming into everyone of how great the Jesus is. Okay. Lately, maybe not. But like, God, let's scream into the screen. The righteousness. The spirituality. The things that I've experienced. I have seen God. See, I would love to believe this shit. Because I don't believe in round Earth anymore. Right? The moment you sort of realize there is this group of people that don't see a Big Bang, they see God. Okay. So we sort of go back there. Hey, science asserted their authority. Maybe we should, like, go, like, in between. That maybe there is space. There is a bunch of different worlds that we can live in after we die, that we are immortal. Let's take the best of both worlds, right? That there isn't, like, the God, but, like, the creator. There isn't the person that constantly cares about us and looks after us. It's just someone that created this place and we just live in it. And we do whatever we want. We get ultimate freedom to grow and experience things together. Because if everyone were like, oh, I can do whatever I want. It's my dream. You cannot live in someone else's dream without being raped in various ways. Like, you can't do that. But you can still live here and sort of avoid violence, and grow with the entity of humanity in this case. As humans as a whole grow, you sort of grow yourself. I love this perspective on life. You are already immortal, so you don't have to become a vampire. You don't have to feel like you were lucky to be alive. Like, this is bullshit. Again, as I said, you eliminate luck. If you figure out that you're lucky to be alive, kill yourself immediately. Like, jeez, this is the worst place to be in. If we're in this pocket of lucky people to be alive, no, I'm out. Get the fuck out of here. I shouldn't exist. What I'm telling you. Big Bang? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Science, you're telling me I am just a lucky guy. Right? I'm just nobody, basically. Someone just shit me at and I just exist for some reason. Like, this makes no sense. It's so hard to grasp because, like, what is consciousness, right? Like, what is that? Answer that, science, and then we're gonna move on. Because you can't. You just can't. I hate science at this point. It's like my biggest arch enemy, and it's the authority that we have. We have science and we have the government working together. After the capitalism. Very interesting. Again, Stefan Molyneux, let's go back there. Promoting free market. As he talked about socialism, what he actually talked about is capitalism. Oh, capitalism is great, and socialism is killing capitalism. All the time. It attacks capitalism all the time. That's all he talks about. But you trade the pen for $1. Jesus Christ. I love how in the end of his video is like, guys, I would really love to see your comments and your opinions, because I feel like I'm a stupid piece of shit. The last part I added in, I just was interested. He was interested in comments at this point. I never heard that before, by the way, from him. Oh, write some comments. He says, like, if anyone wants to criticize me, you're in front of the line. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Find me, Stefan Molyneux. I wanted to debunk you a long time ago, but now I have a lot more power. Now that I understand how free market works, and that it's trash because it's too complicated. The concept is too complicated. If everyone had superpowers, and they were incredibly powerful as people, no one can be enslaved at this point. Yeah, capitalism, great, wonderful idea. But now that people can be enslaved, we have tried it. As a society, we have tried capitalism because we needed the technology, but we don't need the ideology. See what I mean? You can be sentimental about technology and say, yeah, it's great that we have money. Okay, that's where capitalism came from. Okay, we invented money. And we established money, most importantly, for our society. So that's great. Awesome. You can be compelled by this technology, but like, shut the fuck up about free market as an ideology. It's too far. Resource-based economy is gonna work. Peter Joseph looks into the technology and says, we can empower people right now. We can distribute all of this amazing stuff. We can create infinite amount of food. Great. everyone can survive just fine right now. But what actually he's supposed to talk about is community. We can establish communities just fine. Something that Venus Project is also hinting at is the community aspect. Think about it this way. The most inspiring thing to me, personally, was thinking that we have a lack of life coaches. You know why? Because we don't have community. We don't understand what a life coach would even do at this point. How do you get a job? Nobody knows. Ask that question. How do you approach a girl? Nobody knows. You can try and find some stuff on the internet. You're gonna get a bunch of con artists, pickup artists. You're not gonna get a bunch of answers. I'm telling you that much. You're gonna have a bunch of bullshit. Because we don't live in a community where everything is concrete. Everything is obvious of what to do. So we don't have life coaches for that exact reason. Nobody comes up to you and says, this is how you date, this is how you get a job, this is how you live life. This is how you establish yourself as a person and put yourself together and get all this technology. This is what you have to learn to prove yourself worthy of a part in the community. Like, Jesus, there is no such thing as a life coach because we don't have communities yet. Until, for a long time, we have been always living under socialism. Always. This should shock a lot of people who are politically aligned with any group, left or right. Again, left or right is like, those concepts have grown out of control. As I said before, like, now political, everything is political because politics were always about morals. And now everyone wants to involve other people into politics because, again, it's a moral battle about very interesting ideas, to say the least. So who's going to survive this battle? Holy shit. Who's going to get the authority? Someone like me is going to get a lot of authority. Simply because I know how to resist it. I know how to kill vampires, as I've said. I have a certain type of personality that people should observe. As you can see, my type of videos, I can justify because I'm poor. In a way, I can justify my personality. That's great. As long as I'm poor, the only people that can destroy me are not vampires. Are people that can put fire on me, can put a burden, and give money to me, and do all these crazy things that now I would have a responsibility to grow myself as a channel and get myself heard, turn into a semi-capitalist, because now I have been set on fire. Jeez. I bet Stefan Molyneux and Peter Joseph both are Earth personalities. Stefan Molyneux has been set on fire, to say the least. I'm not sure about Peter Joseph, though. He seems to be doing just fine if he's sort of going in the right direction, but not necessarily. Something to be debunked there as well. He sort of has a lot of overly complex vocabulary that he presents his ideas in. It's just, there's a lot of stupid things there as well. But that's a very interesting aspect as well. Another very interesting aspect is how water and earth can come together and protect each other. These are the left-leaning people. And these are the people who are going to reset the clock anyways. The 2.1s are only constructed out of these numbers, right? No other numbers. When everything resets, that's how it works. Because if we come as a community, we're like, what do we do now? We kind of put together our wealth, slowly try and see what do we need, how do we manage things. But we sort of communicate a lot, we socialize a lot. We don't know what to do. We try and stretch ourselves out, but we're really careful about everything because we're in the unknown, in a real darkness. Yet again, after everything resets, we go back into darkness and then build ourselves back up. And again, right now we're not living in the darkness necessarily, but the essence is we still live under socialism. We still live under some unknown principles, and we're trying to establish a lot of things, but most of the stuff that we're establishing right now is just based so we can have an experience, we can have a tanning con. That was like the best pun I've ever heard, and I had to finish that up with the tanning part. It's not the con part. See, and it's the same exact best example of a trend being a relationship between a vampire and a host, which is sort of a wealthy person, has a lot of power. 1.4. A vampire just kind of came in. Let's make a con. Let's trash your name. Let's do that. Yeah. Wow, that guy is just, the Michael guy is like, oh my god. He should be fucking put on a cross as a vampire really quickly. Crucified, jeez. Give it to me and I'm gonna do that shit. But nah, 50 years, we gotta wait 50 years, guys. We gotta experience even more stuff like that. And 50 years later, I'm gonna be a fucking old guy. Really old. I might just be dead from cancer at this point. What am I even talking about? Am I gonna live in a community? Ah, so sad. Maybe 3 years I'm gonna live in a community as an old guy. That would be nice. Just very relaxing it would be. Now I can die in pieces. Like, if we reach that level as humanity. I really think that not only we're not lucky to be alive, but we have been created to be alive. Like, it's a whole different, it's a whole difference. Again, I say, if you're lucky, you go kill yourself right now. Because I would have to stand by my principle. If I learn that I'm lucky, holy shit, I'm out. So I will be able to experience a little bit of what communism is going to look like. Maybe a few years, hopefully. So I will have to work on my body just to survive these things, just to live 70 years. That says a lot. Whew. It's so hard to survive that long. I'm not too worried about myself because I'm an Earth personality and vampires are thriving, and I thrive on eating vampires myself. Easy. And capitalists are not gonna set me on fire. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, this guy should be popular. Really? Me, of all people, popular? Really? You really like me? You gotta be out of your mind. Fuck you. No, seriously. It's not gonna happen, right? I can make tons and tons of videos and it's not gonna be popular. For a very long time, at least. Obviously, if I make a good game engine, it's gonna be more and more compelling to figure out what this guy is about. Where did he come from? What is he up to? Oh, he's just very crazy guy. He's just a fucking crazy guy. Let's just buy whatever he's selling and just move on with our lives. Right? And there's already a lot of authority established, so we don't even have to buy anything. Minecraft's still alive, right? Right? I have no hope to actually become popular at this point. It's kind of fascinating to me. However, I will have a lot of authority. Simply because I'll be a creator, I'll do something. And people will search for authority figures. And I'll have authority for some people. Some people will think that way. Because I will defeat their authority and I will be like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I will defeat or protect them. Like, again, this water and earth relationship. Water can get under attack by wind. Earth can be under attack by earth. If they combine their powers together, magic happens and they can protect each other. Earth can protect from wind. Water can protect from fire. Wonderful stuff, right? So I would look for a water personality. Tana Mongo actually is a water personality. It's a zombie. Just like H3H3 says, it's like middle-aged women. She already had a child. Look, she looks that way at least. So fucking old and ugly. Tana is. Crazy. What happens when you just follow feelings? That's how you look like. Just follow feelings. Not other people's opinion. Not reality. Not look at the mirror or even feel bad that you have made a complete disaster of a mistake. But like, yeah. It's a wonderful experience that we had as a whole to look at. That's about it. That's the end of the video. A doomsday. What's gonna happen in 50 years? I'm gonna sit back and relax and enjoy the world crumbling apart. It's literally what I'm gonna have to do. Figure out how to enjoy this stuff. How to set up my life so I can enjoy it. And be a good figure for those who want to establish the future. They're gonna listen to me. Listen to me fucking carefully. Because when the clock resets, the authority has to be removed. And people on the left sort of feels that way at the same time. On the left specifically. This is why I say I'm ultra left. And morally speaking, yeah, I mean, I don't know how left people feel and how they behave, and they seem to be attacked by everyone who I get to watch on YouTube, especially Stefan Molyneux. Like, they're attacked and I don't hear them to be rational. I don't feel that they are represented properly at the same time. I feel like they're doing this same thing that is being portrayed as just mindless violence. And that's all you can do, honestly, on the left right now. Because you're being torn apart. And surviving this clock, well, that's so weird. This number 1 is attacked by all the number 4s in the end. Right now, it's not all of them. Like, right now, it's 0.313. There's a lot of stuff that still feeds socialism. Fire feeds water. It's a weird concept, but hang in there. So, when it hits 4.4.4, it's like the water is completely under attack on all fronts, Everyone's attacking left. Think about that for a second. Everyone. The left is so overwhelmed, and they just want to lash out. It's gonna be even worse than electing. Even worse than what happens right now. People just gonna go nuts. The world war is going to happen. Especially women are going to go nuts. Very interesting concept, right? Women? Yes, that's what I talked about in the end. Seems like they are the most under attack because it's their nature. The water is their nature. Most importantly, I don't know what's gonna happen. We have never experienced this before. A reset button. See? This is why we live under socialism, because none of these things we have experienced yet. A population explosion, a technological explosion, none of these are in our history. We don't understand this at all right now. None of this is recorded. We always lived under socialism. Because there's always unknown things are happening that we need to experience and put into our society as a whole and share with everyone. And everyone will find value in those things. Because they will fail in life. And they will need enlightenment. So we need to share that. But things are starting to repeat themselves from that point forward. So we need to reset button, but we need to move forward on a new ideology. Not socialism anymore. It's dying. There are a lot of things that are repeating themselves. Okay? So once we realize that, we're going to move on. That's the end of that. Very simple prediction of the future, guys. It looks pretty cool to me. Yeah, man. Quarter way in, but I feel accomplished. See you guys next time.